Our guys get the opportunity to play for a conference championship. Hard to beat that. Proud of their effort. They've earned it. Formidable opponent in North Texas, a really quality team. They've done a great job this year. They've always been explosive offensively. They still are. I think where you've seen significant upgrades on their team is the offensive lines. I think a lot better than last year watching them, and I think their defense has improved a lot as well. They're sound in the kicking game. They do a good job in that area as well. So really, really good outfit. I think the biggest misconception on them is they spread it out and just throw it around, which they do, but they run it really well too. So we've got our work cut out for us in all three phases. So with that, we'll open it up.
First, before getting to the championship, congratulations.
Thank you.
When making that decision, how hard was that for Florida? And more importantly, to this week, how important was it that they allowed you to coach the championship game and beyond if you win?
Yeah, so when I came here, I came with the intent of if I was to leave, I wasn't leaving for just a P4 job. Like my wife and I made the decision to come back to Tulane and New Orleans for our family, and if we were to leave, it needed to be a top 10 job in all of college football. That was kind of like what I had decided. Like I wasn't taking a average P4 job because this job's better than an average P4 job. Okay, like this job's gonna have a lot of attention for people that want it because it's a great job, and so that part there, and then it means everything to be able to coach in the game. I'm very grateful for Tulane's administration and on the other side Florida's administration for working this out so I could be present. I had to leave yesterday for a few hours to go do a couple of obligations there, and then got back last night, and I'm here for the week. Don't have to go back until after our game. And really, after our game, hope if it goes the way we want it to, I'll kind of be back and forth and getting ready for the next one. So we'll see how all that goes. But I'm very grateful that I was allowed the opportunity to finish the job with this football team. And I think our players want that. I know I want that. Our players, all of them on Sunday when I let them know what was happening, they were like, yeah, Coach, you better finish the job with us. So could not be more grateful that both sides are comfortable with that.
And when talking about your opponent in North Texas, they have the number one scoring offense, number one total offense. When you watch Eric Morris's system, what makes it so unique and successful?
Yeah, Eric's a really good football coach. They got good players too. Schematically, they stress you in a lot of different ways. They play with great tempo. But a lot of times tempo teams, you see some systems that maybe they're not worried about having answers. They just want to go fast, where I think Eric is very unique. And what they do is very unique is they go fast, but they also have good answers. Like, and they find matchups, and they find formations that maybe create a problem for you. So I think he schematically is one of the better guys in the country at playing with tempo, but also having a really good scheme to find ways to create an issue for you that's different than just the tempo. Some tempo teams, the issue is just the tempo. Their issue schematically is not just the tempo, it's just another element that they present that can be a problem for you, but they give you a lot of problems structurally with how they challenge you.
Coach, what has the last 24, 48 hours been like for you? Of course, making the news here, going out there, and then having to shift the focus back to here, to the championship game.
Yeah, not a lot of sleep. A lot of phone calls. I've got, I don't know, probably like 900 text messages. I'll get back to those maybe in a week or two. I'm going to worry about coaching this team. I'm worried about trying to help. I'd like to see Tulane finish strong on signing day tomorrow. I'd like to see Florida finish strong, obviously, on signing day tomorrow. And then really just worried about trying to get this football team ready to play a game. That's probably the most important thing right now going on in my life is just trying to get this team ready to play well on Friday night.
And you talk about North Texas, of course, throwing the ball, but they're able to run it as well. But how much confidence do you have in your defensive backfield to defend how they do, how well they do?
Yeah, I mean, I'm confident in those guys. It's a challenge. And we've had some issues at times this year, so we've got to be good. We've played FAU, Ole Miss, North Texas. All three of those, I think, are the top 5 in the country in passing offense. So we've been challenged with really good opponents. This one upcoming being one of them. But I think our guys, I believe in our guys. I'll be excited to watch them go play against a really good team, and we've got to hold up on the back end for sure.
And then lastly, back to taking the new job. When you spoke with athletic director David Harris and you told him, like, look, I want to be here for the championship game, and he accepted that, how much was maybe a weight lifted off your shoulders with that?
It was a lot. Look, the last thing I wanted to do, I addressed this, the calendar that we have in our college football world of when coaches have to make decisions about what they're going to do next year makes no sense with the rest of the calendar. Like, signing days this week, we're still playing games. I've said this a lot. I said this last week after our game. Like, in the NFL, they play the season. Coaches can take jobs after the season. Then there's this thing called free agency, the draft. Then you get mini camp, OTA, training camp, season, coach movement, player movement. Like, there's a flow to it that, like, actually kind of makes sense. The flow to what happens in our world makes zero sense. Like, we're having to make decisions about where you want to coach next year while still coaching this year. And it's kind of clunky. And I'm very grateful that David, Mike Fitz, Patrick Norton, the administration here on campus, after we talked through it, they were like, yeah, we would love for you to finish this out. And that means the world to me. I'll never forget it. I feel very fortunate to be able to do that the right way.
And good to see you back. We didn't get to ask you after the game about Retzloff reaching 13 TDs rushing, and I wondered one thing. Could you comment on how what is unique about him in your experience? The second is he is part of an interesting subplot to this game, which is both teams lost starting quarterbacks to the transfer portal, got new guys in, and now they're on opposite sidelines for the championship. And could you give your take on that too?
Yeah, Jake's obviously had a great year running the football. I mean, he's done some great things in the throw game as well, but set a record for us last week with the rushing touchdown component. We knew it on the headset. We had talked about it going to the game. He's been a difference maker in a lot of ways, but running touchdowns has been a big deal. And then I think really a credit to both staffs, their staff and our staff in particular, our offensive staff, because we got crushed in the portal, not just at quarterback, but at running back and at tight end. And then we got two returning stars on offense, left tackle, left guard. And then they lost, obviously, Chandler to Virginia, and they've replaced him. And they got this young quarterback who's not as experienced as Jake, and he's playing at a really high level. He makes great decisions. He's accurate. And it's very impressive, really, by both teams to just, you could sit here and whine and complain about what you've lost in the portal or how your roster got poached. Nobody cares. You just got to figure it out. So how do you put the best roster you can together and keep moving forward? And I'm proud that our team has found a way, and I really respect how their team has done it as well.
I mean, tackling is always important, but against this team, how critical is it? Because a lot of their short passes turn into 50-yard gains when they get the right matchups. And how good do you feel like your guys have tackled all year long, and just how critical is that going to be?
Yeah, tackling in space is a huge deal in this game. They get you out in space, and one-on-one opportunities, you got to make it or it becomes explosive at times. We've done an okay job. I mean, I would say there's been some times I felt really good about it. There's been other times I haven't. We've tackled better in the box as of late. Like, I really feel like the last month or so, Memphis game moving forward, you felt us in the run game tackling the football carrier well. On the perimeter, hit or miss. First part of the year I thought not very good on the perimeter. I've seen some good things, but not consistent enough to feel like we're just going to go into this one and dominate or anything. We got to play our best.
Thank you, John. Congratulations again, and thank you for your honesty and your openness with us, as you have been all along. How did the team handle the announcement when you made it to them, and how did that work? Do you mind me walking you through that or no?
Yeah, well, they handled it great. I mean, I've been very upfront and transparent with them every step of this process. Going back to like we talked about in the summer when I discussed what happens with coaching changes, what happens with player transfer portal movement, all that stuff. So, and they know. I mean, they know the deal. They know what's going on out in the world. I think half the time you can read speculation on social media and some of it's not true, and the other half maybe some of it is true. But they were great. Like when I shared the news with them, they already kind of knew what was coming. It had already been out there to some degree, and I was really pleased with their focus on last week's game, even though there was a lot of noise, outside distractions of what could be going on for me next year. And so our guys are awesome. Like I love them. It's a family environment. They handled it better than maybe you would even expect. I mean, there was been a lot of hugs and high fives and a couple tears shed. I mean, I love these guys.
Looking at, obviously, UNC on Friday, how much do you think the schedule this year of playing, an Ole Miss, Dukes, the Northwesterns, whatever, how much do you think that has kind of helped prepare you for this?
Yeah, we've been challenged. I think non-conference, you'd be hard-pressed to find a G6 team that played as maybe a challenging a schedule as we did. You open with Northwestern, who's turned out to be probably a better team than anticipated by some people. South Alabama's talented. They didn't have the year they wanted on the field, but I looked across the field when we got ready to play them. Like, they're not bad. And then you played Duke, who's got good players, and they've had a pretty good year. I think they're in their conference championship game, if I'm not mistaken. All right, and so obviously has some good players. And then you go play Ole Miss, which they're really good. And so I think you play 3 P4 games for a G6 school, non-conference, and come out the other side of it 3-1. That didn't hurt. And then as you work through league play, even, I mean, play East Carolina, man, they're talented. Like, we got ready to play them. I was very impressed. Memphis, very talented. Maybe one of the most talented teams in our league, Memphis, if not the most. They're up there. UTSA on the road, we got our butts kicked. Obviously, I think that was a galvanizing moment. But I think there's been a lot of challenges along the way. There's been some adversity that hadn't gone our way at times. I think that maybe calluses you or prepares you for things you have to take on that are going to be hard later.
You're coaching this game despite taking another job. Eric Morris is coaching this game despite taking another job. How unique is that? But also, is that what you feel like will give you all the best product on the field?
Yeah, Ebo and I talked about it going back for a couple of weeks when we both knew we were going to have options on stuff, and we're friends. And I kind of kidded around with him when I knew he was probably taking one and I was probably going to take one, that we should see if we could announce it like at the same exact time. I thought that would be kind of fun, but his leaked early. Got whatever attention. I don't know who found out and wanted to put it out there prematurely on him. But look, I got a lot of respect for him. He's very deserving of his opportunities, and it's cool. I mean, I think both teams have handled it great, and I think it's a very unique situation. I think it's awesome too that both universities and administrations are understanding and allowing us to do what we're doing.
I know you're kind of a self-proclaimed meteorologist. Any thoughts on the weather on Friday? How could it affect this game and hopefully not affect the crowd either?
Let it rain. That's all I'll say. Let it rain. I'm good. Hey, cold, wet, whatever. I'm good. Yeah, it looks like it's going to rain. but I mean, we're still 72 hours out, or even greater than that. We're 80 hours out. So get back to me in a couple days.
So I know you just touched on this with Kendall's question. But when you first got into coaching and decided you were going to go that route, I mean, you probably couldn't have envisioned coaching in a championship game where you and the other coach, were, and then not just that, but the question I asked earlier about
that like 5 years ago,
and then also the quarterback situation with both teams recovering from, like, it's kind of. Could you just comment on how this game is kind of what do you call it, an example of the radical paradigm shift in college football?
You just hit the nail on the head. There's been a massive shift in our landscape. I think when you consider that, players have movement every year, and then now players are paid legally, like 5-6 years ago, if you'd have said that, you'd have been like, excuse me, what's going on? And so now that that's in play, now I think that maybe it's allowed a lot of this movement to be a little bit more comfortable, if you will. And before, when a coach would leave, players were maybe stuck or bound to a place more. Now it's like, man, we got 60 new players that weren't here last year, over half our team. And so it's just the world we live in. And there's some things about it that aren't ideal, but I think it's allowed all of us to kind of understand, like, hey, do the best you can with where you're at. Each year is a different year. I do think it's important for us to understand that this year's team is this year's team, and it has nothing to do with what's going on next year for me or for them or for anybody. And so this team wants to win a championship. They're excited to play in a championship game, and I think that's really what matters.
First off, congratulations. It's a two-parter. The first part, what do you look forward to most in a job like Florida? Big Power 4 school, top job in the country, comparable to LSU and things like that. And what will you miss and cherish about a city like New Orleans and coaching at Tulane?
Yeah, well, like I said earlier, when I took this job, I knew I wasn't going to leave for just a P4 job. If that was the only goal, I would have already left prior to this opportunity. I knew in my mind, hey, there's about 10 or 12 jobs that were going to move the needle for me to pick up my family and go do something different that I thought could be maybe like a forever type job if you do it right. And so that is what excites me. I think passionate fan base, all the resourcing you need, the toughest conference, all those things. What makes you want to be a competitor at the highest level. And then what am I going to miss most about New Orleans? There's a lot of things, okay? First, I'm going to miss our players. I love this team. I love the guys. That's what brings me joy every day is getting to interact with our players and see them grow and develop and pursue things to be their best. Restaurants, Mardi Gras, Jazz Fest, Hogs for the Cause. It's one of my favorite things we have here in New Orleans. I could list about 100 things in New Orleans. I already texted the guys that run Hogs for the Cause, and last night on my flight back, and I said, do not worry, because they were texting me telling me congrats. I said, do not worry, I'll be back for Hogs. All right, so they said, you got backstage passes, and I said, that's great, as long as it's unlimited beer. So, look, there's a lot I'm going to miss about this place, man. My oldest 2 kids were born here. This has been a home to our family. Love it here.
And this is about North Texas. You mentioned
Thank you.
the quarterback. Yeah,
I'm going to get emotional with all this.
Yeah, I'm not trying to make you cry.
Shit about what I'm going to miss.
Their quarterback, this is his first full year starting, but he leads the country in passing yards. You mentioned him a little bit, but what impresses you the most when you see him on film?
I think he's a great decision maker. He's quick in a lot of ways. I think quickness is – I'm not talking about just movement, but he makes quick decisions. He gets the ball out quick. He sees things fast. I think he distributes the ball well. He's accurate. He's on time. He's confident. You can tell he's got a little swagger and a little bit of leadership about him. I think he's a really good football player. For how young he is, he's very impressive. He's really done a great job. But, yeah, I think he's playing at a high level, and he's a big-time challenge. I mean, he's a really good football player. Awesome. Thank you all. Roll Wave.